Hey guys, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Today's another day in the fish room. It's about 1 o'clock. I got lunch under my belt, done already. I made one trip to the hardware store, and I used to say I've already been to the hardware store, but now I'm just going to say one trip because apparently no day is complete without a return trip to finish the project. But so by the time you're watching this, you've watched my other video where weather was horribly bad. We actually lost power for 8 hours, and it taught me a lot. I'm actually glad we lost power. Fish did fine, everything's fine, but the fish room did drop in temperature by 8 degrees, crazy windstorms, stuff like that. I'll show you some of the aftermath. So as you can see in my yard, there's branches all over the place. Power went out. It was bad times. But it has finally made me focus on getting my fish room airtight. And you've already watched some videos on insulating and things like that. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It should be good enough type of deal. But apparently not. 8 degrees in 8 hours, from about 4 p.m. till midnight or 1 o'clock. That was a big drop. So what I know is I'm losing a lot of power. Well, let me take that back. A lot of heat, which, power makes heat. Call it power or heat, whatever you want to call it. Probably every hour of every day, yeah, I'm heating the space, but I know you can make a fish room that's efficient enough that only lighting will heat the entire space. So, some of the things I know where I'm going wrong. If we go over here, and I go by the noisy dehumidifier and everything, but with my little ladder, we can see here up at this outlet, this right here goes straight into my attic. There is insulation up there, but here's a gap, and you can see there's a gap all around this thing. So I really need to fix things like that. So I'm going to show you how I do that. That's going to be boring, but there's lots of other things I'm going to do today too, which will be fun. That's like shooting videos, and I want to get a bunch of tanks set up here, because with the temperature dropping, part of it was also that I don't have that much water, because as we know, water will hold temperature, so like this 40-gallon tank, which is only about 30 gallons full at the moment. I need to put the elbow in there so that it will fill all the way up. But if this is 72 degrees, when the temperature outside of the tank drops below that, it's going to help heat the room. So the more containers of water I have, the more it's going to hold stable. And so, while yes, we've set up a lot so far, they're not all the way filled. They don't have tops on them. It's not even that warm in here yet. Like right now, here's a crazy part to me. Because I don't have lids on, let me go over here and check the temperature. In the fish room right now, I am heating it to 78 degrees and 38% humidity. So it's literally 78 degrees. You can see that heater's on in the background there. So yeah, 78 degrees. Now let me find my temperature gun, which, I've been playing with it all last night after work. And so you'd think, alright, we've got 78 degree air temperature. What's the temperature of some of these tanks that, are sitting right here? Like this one's full, it's 20 gallons of water. We're at 70 degrees. That's blowing my, oh, hold on. Yep, 70 degrees, 71 degrees. It's blowing my mind how cold we are. And don't get me wrong, fish, in my experience, do well at low temperatures. It's not an issue. All the fish, as you see, like the bristlenose that are, down in this aquarium where I'm shining the light, they're breeding, don't get me wrong, fish are pushing forward, we're raising fry, all that's good things. So, I'm not harming the animals, but I'm just saying that I'm surprised that tank temperature is this low in this warm of a room. And you know, don't get me wrong, these tanks are lowish. You know, they're only a couple feet off the ground. Let's test some of the ones up here. You know, so obviously as we get warmer, or as we get higher, we're going to get warmer. Okay, yep, that's a given. So we're a degree warmer. You know, but where am I going wrong? That's what I can't understand is, so here we've got, you know, 40-gallon tank. It's got a top, and I haven't sealed the back of it yet. I haven't installed that. How warm are we running here? 72.1. You would think, wow, I would think that would run warmer. And then we've got this tank right here. Also, okay, so it's 71.9. You would think that that much of a top would make more of a difference than this. But apparently it doesn't. Apparently the air can just go right out. That sucks. You know, obviously it's making huge humidity differences and stuff like that, and there's a bunch of reasons to run tops. You know, but let's say I compare these two tanks. This one has a full top, even with the plastic back strip, like no leaks at all. This one's got a wide open strip up front here. If I test this, and pardon the noise here, 72.6 degrees. Now if I open this up, yeah, it's like the same temperature. It's blowing my mind. Which typically, when you read online, and in my experience in the past, a top will raise the temperature in a tank by about 2 degrees. So I'm not sure why I'm not getting that. Maybe, you know, maybe this thing is not as accurate as I think it is. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to be crazy accurate, but it should be able to pick up differences. I mean, it has always in the past for me, and it does at the shop. You know, and when I go and I test things here, like here we have, you know, this is the air pump. It's running at 100 degrees. You know, it's a piece of equipment. It's running pretty warm. Yeah, so I'm going to start sealing things up, and I'm going to check in along the way today, and we're going to set up some aquariums and things like that. And I think my camera got a little foggy here. That's why the video has changed, but we'll get that fixed, and we'll check in later. Alright, so it's a little dark in here because I unplugged all the shop lights, and I took off all the outlet receptacle covers, and yeah, so let's see how bad some of them are. So up here, you know, that's pretty bad. You can see the gap on the left side there. I mean, that's a huge gap, and I can actually see like there's some cobwebs. Just so I can zoom in on that. You can see them waving in the wind there. So yeah, you can see the cobwebs waving in the wind there. That's just not good. And so that's one of them. Let's look at this one over here. You know, another pretty large gap. You know, I can literally see the insulation. You probably can't, but you can literally see insulation. And yeah, so that's not good either. So there's two of them so far that are my ceiling. I've got like 10 or something like that. I don't even know how many. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. Looks like I've got 7 holes in the ceiling just from outlets. This one's not so bad, you know, but obviously still gaps all around it, and you can see where the drywall ends, you know, and that's the attic up there where the insulation is. And yeah, I'm relying on a little cover to cover that, but since there's no gaskets and things, let's look at a couple more over here. You know, kind of the same situation with that one. You know, the gap's not horrible. Like, this one's done pretty good, honestly. Like, I'm not sure that I could ever install one as good as this one's installed. So, I'm not saying that, you know, this is bad by any means. I'm just saying we can make it a lot better. And then, you know, for completeness, why not show off the last couple here? We're going to fix them all right now. This one, as you can see, has a gap. And so yeah, you can see that cobweb. It's moving, and I've turned off all fans, everything that could possibly be going in this room. and that's literally from convection heat. So what convection heat is, if you don't know, heat's going to rise up and go through that hole, and then cold air is going to come down through a hole. So maybe we have hot air going up to this one, but then cold air is coming down through that one, and that's what we're trying to stop. And so this is the last one. You know, not a horrible job, but definitely gaps all the way around it. And so let me show you how I'm going to fix it. So one of the basic things that anyone can do, well I shouldn't say anyone, but most people can do, is install some outlet sealers. And this is basically just a piece of foam that's going to cover up all around the electrical plug. And you just pop out, you know, the pieces you need to pop out. Alright, so that's pretty simple. Then we're also going to physically plug any of the receptacles that aren't being used. So like I've got one right here, I've got two right here that I'm not even using really. This is just a fan that hasn't been plugged in since summer. And so even in its form right now, let's say I had done all the work and I have done everything behind this wall, and you can see how loose this one is. I haven't done anything to this yet, but that's not really stopping air at all in this wall, which is non-heated space on the other side of this wall. But even through the actual electrical plug part itself, air comes through. And I'm putting my hand here, I can literally feel cold air. And so what I'm going to do is you start plugging stuff up. And so now air is not going to come through those. And of course, you got to drop it because it's on camera. You know, never can be that easy. You know, but so I'm putting that. Who knows if I'm putting that in right? But so now that's one less place air can really leak through. You know, I haven't done the behind-the-scenes thing there yet. So we've got the insulation block or cushions we're going to install, the outlet things. We're going to put in plugs where there aren't already plugs in it, and then we're going to use a combination of Great Stuff foam to fill in any of the big gaps I've got going. And then I've already done one outlet over here just to make sure, you know, it's going to work before I tell you guys how to do it. Then I'm going to use all-purpose silicone and a gun here to do any of the smaller cracks. So like on, let's say on this one, and I haven't done it yet obviously, my guess is the right-hand side needs silicone where, oh yeah, a little bit of a gap, maybe on the back and the front. But that left-hand side, it's going to take a lot of silicone, and I'm thinking it'll be easier just to Great Stuff it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll check in and show you guys if that was a good idea or absolutely terrible. So I'll check back in a minute. So I've spray foamed all the outlets. That's a lie. I've got one right here I got to do. But all the other outlets have been spray foamed. While I've got the can open before it dries, I'm going to do the perimeter. I'm going to show you my attic here, which is, this is definitely a do as I say, not as I do. Don't climb your attic ladder with one hand with a can of Great Stuff and a camera in the other hand. Don't recommend it. This is where I die. But yeah, getting up here, super cold. You know, I want to. Well, I should have brought the temp gauge up here, but Aquarium Co-op sign. That's where you store them in the attic, by the way. But so if I shimmy around here, you can see those gaps. That's literally like. See if I can focus in on like my finger or something. See if I can. So you see moving down there. That's my finger. And yeah, you can see huge gaps here. You know, that's my fish room you're seeing. That's literally my table. And so we're gonna fill all those gaps in. And I'm just gonna do this little bit here with the Great Stuff on camera so you see if you've never used it, which it's kind of awesome stuff, you probably should have, but if you've never used it before, you kind of start at a corner or so. You start letting this out and it expands pretty quick, so you wanna, you know, keep it moving. I'm showing my can instead of the actual progress here, but this is going to expand and fill this crack for me. Oh, getting a little sloppy there. You can always come back and cut it back out. But yeah, so that's, you know, right there we just filled a crack. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off and I'll show you when I'm done, because no one probably wants to watch 10 minutes of foam coming out, so we'll check back in a minute. So while I'm up here, I thought I would show my insulation. I've got, looks like MDF down where the old owners used to use as storage, and I've got some batting in the corner, well, not in the corners, but underneath. And I definitely am thinking about upgrading insulation at some point. I'm sure there's someone out there watching this video that totally knows all about this and is a badass and can educate me. But you know, in theory I want spray foam, and another theory I just want to roll out some more insulation. Another theory I say, don't touch it. But if you got any thoughts on that, let me know. It's starting to get warm up here now that I've been standing up here and letting all the heat up. But so yeah, here's, you know, all the foam I put in, and we can always come back in once it's done expanding and cut any of it out that we need to, you know. Yeah, there's a big shim right here, so I didn't bother doing that. I'm going to do the underside as well, but you can see I've gotten all the way around. And then, sorry the camera's panning a little fast there, but down here, you know, we had to go underneath this panel because it wasn't quite laid 100% straight or whatever, but yeah, so now I'm going to do it from the underneath. I just want to show this crack in the, not crack, but the gap, just so everyone collectively at home can go, oh, you moron, no wonder you're losing so much heat. You know, and it's not like I didn't see this. I'm just going, yeah, I'll get to it, you know. But I'll tell you what, it's much more fun to install aquariums. It's kind of a cool view of my fish room. It's much cooler and more fun to install fish tanks than it is to seal gaps. You know, I'm up top here, I'm sweating, getting messy, crawling in the attic, that type of thing. It's not very fun, but it will pay off. And because I own this building, it's a forever fix, and that's, you know, the sooner I do it, the sooner I start saving money, that type of thing, so that's why we're doing it. Sorry about the low light. As you can see, all the shop lights and stuff aren't on, but this is a light that'll probably be going when the fish room's fully up and running, just aquarium's lighting us, so I'm going to fill that gap and keep working. It's 3:10, got some light on because I finished an outlet. So finished project, there's an outlet done. So, you know, I think we counted, what, 8 earlier or something like that, so there's 7 more to go. But you can see the foam filled in all the gaps, which is nice. You can see on here I haven't put the faceplate back on it yet, but you can also see we filled in all the gaps. And, you know, so there's, let me climb up here. You know, there used to be some pretty substantial gaps here. I mean, this is, you know, that's a good inch or so, and then ½ inch on the side and ½ inch on top, and like ¼ inch on this side. So hoping that'll make a big difference. I also went ahead and used that silicone that I had and went around my window on the outside and the door on the outside. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. I wish I could say like, oh man, I feel a huge difference already, but these are gains that are going to be very difficult to realize, and it's all part of a bigger picture. Every little bit we do is going to make a huge impact. So you can see up top, I'm going to be shaving all of the excess foam off, and you can see some of the outlets here. You know, we'll be shaving that foam, and it doesn't take that long, but it doesn't feel like you're doing much either, because it's like, oh yeah, like how big of a difference can this make? But, you know, depending on which website you're reading and stuff like that, and, you know, whether it's a professional energy audit or something, you know, they say that all these little leaks like that is equal to, you know, let's say a baseball-sized hole or something like that, just straight up in one of your walls. And you know, who knows if that's right, if it's bigger or smaller. You know, I would say on mine, being that, you know, when they're analyzing it, they're talking about in the walls. I got to imagine it's worse when I have outlets in the ceiling and it's got huge gaps. So, you know, I know it'll pay off. You know, even a little bit of payoff is good. So yeah, I'm going to finish this up and continue to work on other projects. Alright, so got this tote here. It's time to move the koi in. Got to set up a filter and things like that. Still working on outlets and things, but I thought, why not get this started while it's not raining on me, which is a rare thing these days. But koi pond's over there. Kind of got devastated by the wind, honestly. Tops are blowing away, that type of thing. So I'm just going to bring the koi in, and yeah, in theory I've got 4 more of these arriving later today, which obviously I'm not going to install quite yet, but I want to get the ball rolling. So I will check back in when I have the filter set up and I move the koi in, and I'll let you take a look at them. All right. One project accomplished. Filter installed. Just one out from the pond, and koi have been moved inside. You can see there's lots of koi there. So yeah, now it's back into the fish room. Well, I finished insulating all the plugs. It's like 5 o'clock now. It seems like a colossal waste of time, but I know it will pay off long term. Next, I'm going to, I think, drill this tank and paint it and get it set up. This is a tank that I got for free when I bought a store. Not the store I'm in or anything, but I bought a store and bought all the tanks. And this is, if you watch my buying cheap tanks video, stuff like that, this is a tank that was thrown in on top of the deal because it was free. Don't get me wrong, this is not show quality tank by any means. We've got some custom work done here that I definitely wouldn't recommend. But we're going to keep the water level a little lower in it anyway. And it's got a brace here that's been repaired. Not the way I would have done it. I would have used acrylic weld. That being said, acrylic is relatively easy to work with. And I have no idea if this holds water. I assume it does, but if it doesn't, I'll end up repairing it. But it's a 5-foot long tank, and I believe it's a 75. I haven't done the math on it yet, but it looks shorter than like the 110s you normally see in the 5-foot length. And I think it's going to work out nicely to put out on the top rack here, because we're gaining extra space anyway. We'll be able to utilize some of that space with a 5-foot long tank instead of maybe the 4-foot span down here. We're going to put a 75 here. I just want to point out one thing. You notice over here my wood is it is warped. So what happens is you take wood from Home Depot where it's nice and moist, and you put it in a dehumidified fish room, and it'll warp. This is going to straighten back out when I get water on it. It's going to flatten out, but that's just, it's going to show you that you don't need the straightest wood you've ever seen. You can see that bow to it. It actually kind of curves that way, but it's going to work just fine. So yeah, so I'm going to get started. It's 5 o'clock. You can see lots of insulation things there. I trimmed up all around the hatch up there. I installed weather stripping around it as well. You can see we've got all the little plugs, put in with the child safety plugs, which block the air, and put in all the foam and everything. I didn't do the wall outlets yet. I've only done that one. Haven't done that one yet or anything. So I'm not done, but I do want to get some tanks up and running with some water. I may bring some fish straight from the airport to here on Sunday night, importing some Africans and things like that. So we'll see if I can get that ready. But enough talking, I'm getting back to building. It's 5:30, first coat of paint's on. So up here we got a 40-gallon breeder. Then we got the 75-gallon long. Down below, another used tank I bought. This this tank I bought at a fish room when someone was tearing down a fish room, and it was already drilled, and I got stands with it that I use in the store today. But another great deal. I don't remember exactly what I paid for or anything, but already had the back painted black, and so I was using a saltwater tank at the store to house live brine shrimp. But both these tanks have been with me now for over 5 years. This one might be like 7 years. So when you buy, tanks correctly, or at least that you're going to use, they can last you a very, very long time. And So yeah, that's next. I'm going to work on plumbing that in and getting some air lines dropped and things like that. I might even start filling this with water. This is a 75 right here, and you can see, you know, we went 4 bricks high. I've got plenty of room here to be catching fish. Shouldn't be an issue, which, you know, I'm looking forward to that not being an issue. You know, I don't have stingray lights on me, unfortunately, so I can't necessarily light it up yet today, but get some glass tops on it, get the air going, get it plumbed, get it filled with water. I'm hoping to get these 3 tanks filled with water so I can land some fish in them, but we'll see. You know, I also would prefer it if I could auto water change and things, but I don't know if I'll get that done by Sunday night at midnight. But for now, I'm still working. Second coat of paint on it, and I got some more work done as well. Let me show you. I got this tank plumbed in, and this tank's plumbed in and filling with water. I've got air running to this tank for 1 sponge filter. I actually need to bring home more, but one will do for now. Already got running to here. I've got the lines ran for these 2 tanks as well. So now we're just waiting on paint drying and water filling, and yeah, I'll be working on other stuff. I don't know exactly what yet. I'm eating some dinner. You can see right behind me there's some soup. You know, my wife brought me soup, so I don't even have to go in to eat tonight, so I get a lot done. So now it's just a matter of grinding it out. So, not the end yet, still working. So we'll see you in a while. Yeah, I should tell you what time it is, who knows. 6:30. Also waiting for a guy from Craigslist to deliver a bunch of IBC totes, so I'll be buying those, and yeah, so back to work I go. 7:10. Still waiting on water to fill, watching paint dry. I was able to buy some totes and have them delivered, so I go outside here. Yeah, it's dark, even though it's only 7 o'clock at night, but it's the middle of winter. So yeah, I've got 4 more, as you can see there, 4 more IBC totes. Yeah, it's gonna be another 1,200 gallons of water or so to add to the cold room that we're going to quarantine goldfish and koi and stuff like that for the store. And yeah, so watching water fill, that's what I'm doing, and I think I can start plumbing these top tanks and drilling them, so I'm going to get started on that, so that way I'm not here all night, eat some more dinner, and then get to it. Well, it's 8 o'clock, I'm calling it a day. I'm going to show off a few things before I go though, so let's take a look. So, people probably want to see the update on the super red bristlenose fry. They've left the nest. You can see. Let's see if I can zoom in and get the camera to. You can see like the egg casings, and then you can see like there's some fry. We go up a little more. There's some more fry. And I'm sure there's just a bunch hidden in this tank that I can't see. You know, I mean, I guess that could be all of them, but, you know, for instance, if I can get to focus there, kind of by the tail, there's that little bobbing yellow dot. That's another one. So I'm sure there's, oh, and I can see, you know, more down hanging there. So yeah, those were viable and are hatching out, so that's always fun. Looking over here, just checking in on my full red deltas here. I was lucky enough to catch my Claroplecos out and eating earlier. That was kind of fun. Let's see here, what else can we check out? I don't think anything new has spawned that I'm aware of. These are just the pygmy platies. One of my favorites. We've got, you know, some more, well, I don't know if more fry, but there are fry in here. You can see the slow side, Superbia slow side darting around like actual cichlids now. I can probably turn the pump up, the air up a little bit. Turn it moderately there. Yeah, so here's, you know, some fry for blue Silverado inlers, which I apologize for the glass, by the way. It's just, I'll get on top of it all at once. It's still building, obviously. Let's take a look at some other things here, if I can't find anything else. Still got leptosoma. What was I? Oh, still no action from my pistos down here. I've got some super reds. I will say, you know, thanks to Aquanut, the Flex Seal that's on the ground there did fix my leak I had here. See if I can get on the camera there. You know, a little messy, but that being said, it was easy. You know, it took only a couple of minutes, and it worked. So I had to apply probably 4 or 5 coats, and you allow a day in between to dry and everything, so that sucked, but otherwise it's good. Got this tank plumbed in, 40 breeder. Got another 40 breeder acrylic plumbed in down here with water. Got the 75 plumbed in with water. We're filling the 75 long. That's what we're doing up here. Back here, actually, pardon the water sound, but I'm filling water manually, which I know I said I'd never do, but the drain being in helps. So automatic water change came on today, and my tank was leaking. So I went to the bulkhead here to tighten it up. For whatever reason, it's really loose. I don't know if I was just doing all the tanks and I didn't tighten that one at all, but it was super duper loose. And so I got water, and you know, that's half the reason I like cinder block and wood. It's going to dry out real fast and not be a non-issue. You know, got a little, tiny little bit of water on the floor. It's not huge or anything. But yeah, so it's working out. You know, I still need to tie the PVC over to here so I can auto water change on these. Obviously, I still have at least 2 more tanks to set up there. And I haven't bought any cinder blocks or anything to build this next row yet. I haven't even started tapping into any of these yet, so that can be this next row over here if I want. It's been a full day today. I think I started about 10 a.m., hit the hardware store once today, before, and I didn't have to go back, which that's blowing my mind, so I'm waiting for some reason to have to go today. You know, there's still a few hours left in the day, who knows. But yeah, I got that done. Got the koi done out in the cold room, got more bins. You know, I added, you know, once I'm going to fill these up, and, you know, added basically, what is it, 75, 150 plus 80 is 230 gallons of water to the fish room today. That's nice. Got my outlets done. You know, insulated my hatch up there. You know, so I feel like I got some legitimate things done today. You know, it doesn't seem nearly as much progress as a different day. Like, you know, some episodes I'm showing like, look at this, I did this entire rack and row, but that just didn't happen today. So, you know, full day, lots of good stuff got done. But as always, it's been another day in the fish room. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and give a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. I don't know why you wouldn't have yet. By the time you're watching this, I probably have already hit 5,000 subscribers, or am really close. So thank you in advance for that, or thank you if that's already happened. Go ahead and check out our other videos. Make sure you're checking out Real Fish Talk with me and Lamont on Sundays. We've got Quick Tip Tuesdays. What else? We got Fish Room Thursdays, and then generally I put out another video on Fridays where I'm doing a project. I'm actually, you know, showing you, oh, this is how I do this part. So, you know, between all those 4 things that are coming out every week, you should find something at least once a week that is interesting to you. And then I have a question for everyone watching this. There is someone that has got to know more than me. What I want to know is, if I have 1,500 watts of energy and I'm using a space heater to heat this room, is it more efficient if I was to use 1,500 watts in, let's say, right behind me, that big water tote? If I had 1,500 watts in there, heating that up to, let's say, 80 degrees, is that more efficient, and will it heat the room to the same temperature as the room heater, or would it be less efficient? I Googled the answer to that, and I come up with lots of thermal theories and things like that, but nothing practical. So short of me putting a bunch of heaters and keeping that at, let's say, 82 degrees, I have no idea yet. But I was just wondering, because I know that tote's going to get drained like every single day and be filling all these tanks, and I'm going to need to heat it anyway. So that's my question. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.